What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully, you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. I know you guys have been dying for me to do a podcast on the drones in New Jersey and really all over the world, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. There's been so many reports of SUV size, car size drones that that nobody can explain. And the frustration level has reached a boiling point with so many individuals in America as well as around the world. We have these car sized drones in format patterns that are flying over the oceans everywhere. And the patterns that they're flying in are very rigid patterns sometimes, and sometimes they're just flying independently. Sometimes there's 10 of them, and they're in a nine a 3 by 3 nine UFO drone shaped pattern like a square, and sometimes they're seen going into the ocean in that format. We've recently been told that aliens have been coming out of the ocean, so it kind of is cohesive with what we've been told by the government. Also, and what's interesting is that they're just making themselves known now all of a sudden after we've had those whistleblowers come out and talk to the congressional hearing panel. All of a sudden, after they said that there's aliens in the ocean, we're getting all these reports all over the world of drones, quote unquote drones. They're calling them drones. Well, they could just be alien ships, guys. They don't have to be drones. And drones, typically now what people think of as drones are really going to be like the propellered drones that humans have created. Well, drones typically should be thought of as unmanned aerial vehicles, right? So it could be anything, that's just controlled, uh, that's unmanned, right? But what these things are these SUV size quote unquote drones. Well, who fits into an SUV? Four humans, five humans. So you're telling me that they couldn't just be a ship? That these couldn't be multiple ships? I mean, they're not saying that because they don't want to freak everybody out. But the fact of the matter is that it's very well possible that these things could just be ships. And the question is why are they here? Are they invade? Is it an invasion? I'm going to play you a clip of News Nation, and you can listen in on what the previous government officials think they really are, and the fact that we should have some information. I'll play you a clip from the White House as well. The press secretary got pressed on giving us some sort of answer, and she wasn't able to, and trying to figure out you know, who's going to give us an answer? She's deflecting off to the FBI, she's deflecting off to the DOD and the Homeland Security, and nobody's giving us an answer. So now we have to go interview the FBI. Well, good luck. That's going to be pretty challenging. Are you going to go interview the Homeland Security? Probably not. So it just poses a lot of questions that I don't think we have answers to. So we'll see. We'll see what pops up. So I will continue to work on this, and we will continue to bring it to you as we can and develop it. I want to play a podcast section for you. So let me do that. Let's go ahead and play the first one, which is really interesting. Here, let me play this for you.
5, all hell is going to break loose. The volume of sightings, weird objects in the sky, it's off the charts. I am swamped by people sending me videos from all over the world. And it's not just in Bedminster, New Jersey. It's not just in the United Kingdom. It's India, Greenland, Russia, Kazakhstan, China, Japan. I cannot believe the volume of sightings that are going on at the moment. Something is showing itself in our skies.
And they're showing videos
We
from
are going
everywhere.
to look back and we are going to say that the autumn of the drones was a turning point. There's consistent sightings of drones over military facilities. It sounds like nothing at the moment, but I wager it's going to turn out to be enormous. I think 2024 in future will be seen, ironically, as the calm before the storm. A reckoning is coming.
Yeah,
Very
so
early
that's
in
really cool.
2025.
Now I want to show you a different video.
All
Yeah,
hell.
we got it, buddy. I'll show you a different video, or play you a different video from News Nation, which is really telling of kind of where we're at in this. It's got Chris Cuomo in it. It's got Louis Elizondo, and it's got another dude in there. I don't know his name, so I'll pull it up here. Give me uno momento. Where did that? Well, let's play the press secretary first, and see if we can't pull up the other one in a minute. Where is that News Nation one? Give me a second, because the News Nation one's really good. I'm like, man, these guys are really doing a good job on giving us a good insight into what's going on here. So let's play this. Let's see if I get the video right, the volume right. I don't want to be blasting your eardrums out. Now, we're waiting for the ad, but it should be coming up here. Here we go.
SUV-sized drones in New Jersey. Dozens of reports seen near military bases, armories, civilian areas, over people's houses, properties owned by President-elect Trump. The FBI says they've been investigating it for a month. A month? But many, like my next guests, say the response has been tepid. What could they be, and how is this so hard to figure out? Joining us now is New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick and former defense and intel official who investigated UFOs for the federal government, Luis Elizondo. Thank you for having both of you here. I appreciate it. Senator, let me ask you, what do you make of how your requests to satisfy people's curiosity have been met by other officials?
Not very well. Either the government doesn't know anything, or the government is in a position where it's an embarrassment to the people of the state of New Jersey, because people already come to the table with distrust of government. This adds to distrust. And I'm deeply concerned that people are going to come up with conspiracy theories. You see them on the internet all the time. So this doubled down, and it double downs on the people who make up theories and also don't trust government. So it has a double whammy on government.
Have they told you anything, Senator, about what to say or what to think?
The only thing I heard is Governor Murphy did a press conference while he was signing another bill, and he indicated he wasn't concerned with the safety of residents. But the residents I represent are deeply concerned that they need a lot more information than a blanket statement that it's still safe out there. That's simply not enough. We're going to be briefing tomorrow in Trenton, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Yeah, and it's all safe out there is what they told us before before COVID came out here, and they were like, oh no, everything's safe. It's just over in China, and then it came over here and blew up. And I know COVID wasn't what they all made it out to be either, but the fact is that they'll blanketly just say, hey, we don't have enough information while they gather information, and while they get it, they already own it. They just don't want to freak people out. So let's say there's a comet falling out of the sky headed directly towards Earth, and it's the size of the Statue of Liberty, and it's going to take out a third of the Earth. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us at all. I don't even know why they tell us when there's like a meteor that's going, 150,000 miles, outside of our range. It doesn't make any sense. Who cares? Who cares? Why are you telling us, just to freak us out? I don't get it. So anyway, I'll keep playing this here.
Well, you got a platform here to tell the country what you're finding out and what you're not finding out whenever you want it. Mr. Elizondo, it's good to have you again. What's your guess on this? I mean, look, the good news is You see a lot of navigation lights on these things. You see red and greens on a lot of these, which, as you know, are familiar lighting that people put on drones over a certain size. What's your guess as to why there's so many over Jersey all of a sudden?
Well, Chris, surprisingly enough, it's not just over Jersey. Recently, over a few weeks ago, we had a very similar issue over Langley Air Force Base, one of our most sensitive military installations. And frankly, if you look back the last 4 or 5 years, there was actually a very similar occurrence back in Colorado, where for weeks, local and state law enforcement officials were chasing these things in the skies, almost doing a racetrack pattern. And no one seemed to know what the heck was going on. Actually, this is one of the very reasons why I decided to testify before Congress a few weeks ago, because quite frankly, we don't really have control of our U.S. airspace. We don't have awareness of what are in our skies.
Do you believe that the FBI...
That's crazy, right? He's the guy that was in control of all the reports coming in for UFOs, and he's retired now, and he's saying we don't know what's in the skies. Well, he can't tell us, right? He has to tell, the leaders in a skiff in another building that's secured and off the public record, and it's a circle of what my one of the other podcasters calls is like a limited hangout. Only a certain group of high level officials, either elected or military officials, are going to know what this stuff is. But the fact of the matter is that we have it everywhere. It's like an invasion. It is an invasion of drones. And if it was human drones, they'd be able to knock them out of the sky, no problem. They'd be like, okay, you're flying over restricted airspace, we're going to knock you out. But these things, they're not doing anything about. They're not doing anything about it. And if they were an issue, you'd have some helicopters going out there. You'd have military going out there and saying, hey, what the fuck's going on? They're not doing that. They're not sending out any military assets. They're just letting them do whatever they want. And if this was China and they were going over the United States and doing surveillance, like they already did with the balloon, they didn't shoot it down for like 3 days. So it gathered a whole bunch of information. These drones could be doing the same thing if they were China. I don't think they are China, though. I think these things are watching us. Remember, just a week, 2 weeks ago, we had the Manchester UFO sphere that landed right in the airport. So they're gathering information now. Maybe they found out, hey, hey, there's something there. Let's go check it out. And this could be a species we don't even know about, right? This doesn't have to be any species we know about. This could be a totally random species just flying by our solar system and said, oh, hey, let's check out the Earthlings. And then they just sent down a bunch of ships just to check us out, or maybe they're mounting an invasion. But dude, they're definitely flying over Jersey and New York State. Let's keep listening here.
FBI has been looking for a month and doesn't have any answer about what these are when there's so many?
Well, I've worked with the FBI in the past, and they tend to be very, very competent when they're doing investigations. I do believe they have some answers. I don't think they have all the answers yet. What further makes this more complicated, you have an issue where these things are being seen over civilian airspace, so you have jurisdictional issues, right? You have, from a federal perspective, you have FBI leading the law enforcement investigation, but you also have the Department of Defense. You have folks like the U.S. Air Force and Office of Special Investigations. You have DHS and even the FAA. And so all these federal agencies, forget about even the state and local agencies, are trying to work together and try to deconflict what's in the skies. And unfortunately, they just don't seem to have a common operating picture right now of exactly what we're dealing with.
You think they're wrong about the size? Because, it's not easy to find drones of any significant size on the commercial market.
Yeah, so here's the problem, Chris. Great point. We know that commercial drones tend to be a typical size, and they use a certain amount of power, if you will, and have a certain amount of loiter time, a certain amount of range. And typically can be anywhere between 15, maybe 20 minutes if you're lucky. And then you have to have line of sight in order to control these things. If you talk about anything bigger than that, you're really talking about a state-sponsored capability. This isn't a hobbyist. This isn't a drone that someone buys, let's say, from Radio Shack or buys from Amazon. This is something far more complex that can be flown beyond line of sight, i.e. over the horizon, and has a loiter capability in some cases of several hours. And if you're talking about an SUV size or larger potentially drone, this is a problem. Look, the U.S. Navy has been reporting these types of drones, in some cases the size of cars and even bigger, for years now, and this is exactly emphasizing the point why we need to take this topic seriously.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah. See, so that's the one I wanted to play for you. There is one other one with the White House where the White House press secretary got drilled, and they don't want to answer shit, right? Ever when there's something that they're trying to hide. But this reporter did a pretty good job of just really drilling in on her and trying to get them to answer something. So here, it's only less than 2 minutes here. I'll play it real quick. See if we, of course, we're going to get an ad, right? Oh, we got to have ads because, why wouldn't we have ads? Jeez Louise. Here we go.
A couple of questions about drones. There have been repeated drone sightings in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. These are not small drones, some of them pretty large. They're flying at low altitudes, they're flying in flocks. Has the president been briefed on this situation?
So we are certainly aware, the president is aware. So we're closely tracking the activity and coordinating closely with relevant agency, including DHS and FBI, to continue to investigate these incidents. I don't have anything beyond that to share. Obviously, this is something that DHS and FBI are tracking very, very closely, and so I would have to refer you to them directly, but aware. Keeping an eye out and looking into the incidents that you just mentioned.
Still though, but has the federal government ruled out that these are controlled by foreign entities?
Yeah.
And do you know if they're conducting surveillance over these
So
areas?
I cannot make any kind of predictions or comments about that specifically from here. This is something that DHS is looking at and FBI, so I would have to refer you to them. I don't have anything beyond that. We're tracking this very closely. Obviously, we're all aware of the...
If they were tracking it very closely, they would have answers. They don't have answers. They're definitely tracking it closely, and they're not wanting to give anybody any answers. That's the party line.
Incidents that have been reported. I'm not going to go into
I'm not going to give
what they
specifics.
could be or could not be from here. That is something that obviously is being looked at as those respective agencies that I mentioned.
When was the president briefed on this?
I don't have a timeline, but he certainly has been made aware of this.
And
his
the New Jersey governor said, it's frustrating that there aren't answers about where these are coming from, that people are very concerned about this. What's the White House message to the people up there who are frustrated that there isn't any information right now?
And obviously, we hear them and we understand that. We are closely...
We're closely tracking, and that's all she's going to say. There could easily be people freaking out and rioting in the streets right now. Easily. Just the fact that people are scared of the unknown. If they just said, "Hey, this is something we're conducting," okay, great. Then we can lessen our fear about it. If it's a GPS thing, if they're trying to do some land surveys, if they're just trying to do some real estate business transactions, whatever. But these are drones that are not commercially available. They are large. They are SUV size. I used to sell drones. I know exactly what we have and what we don't have. They talk a lot about line of sight. Line of sight means you have to be able to see it in order for it to be controlled. There's some truth to that. There's some not truth to that. I actually had a guy that I was not working with, but he would come into the shop and he would buy stuff, and he would tell me that he could set longitude and latitude, and this thing could fly and map out the entire county. Well, if something flies far enough to go to the end of one county from where you're at, you're not going to have line of sight of it anymore, are you? That means that it could be controlled without line of sight. Again, that's on the human side. Do I think these things are human? I don't know. I gotta think that there's so many of them that if they were controlled by humans, our military would shoot them down. They would be a threat. They would be a threat to airspace. They would be a threat to our country, security, all that. If they were the militaries, then they could say, oh, it's simply ours. If they're aliens, they simply can't just go and shoot them down, right? You can't fight them, hands down, period. Not with the weapons that we know about. Maybe there are some weapons on their secret spaceships that they do have that they could shoot them down with. But then you're talking about an intergalactic war with ships flying all over the place, right? So then you'd really have people taken to the streets, straight up pandemonium, people not going to work, the downfall of society, people fighting people, just a disaster. So is that what we're headed into the holidays? Is a disaster? I don't know, man. Is this going to make gun sales go up and ammunition go up? I don't know, but it's something to think about as time moves forward. So anyway, guys, what do you think these are? I'm going to put a poll into the comment section. I want you guys to tell me what you think they are and leave a comment as well. And leave a comment as to what podcasts you'd like to hear in the future as well. I'd like to research the stuff you guys are interested in. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. I'm going to go. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Take care of your loved ones. Follow through on on healthy options, healthy food, healthy mindset, healthy body. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Till next time, guys, take care. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.